Welcome back to the Bluechip Breakdown, Vols fans. I'm your host, Bull. In today's video, we have a lot to cover. We're going to be talking about that transfer portal for our football team, for our Lady Vols basketball team, and for the men's basketball team. We'll talk track and field. We'll talk baseball. We'll talk softball. All of that in today's video. Please make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. All right, so let's start off with the football team. First and foremost, Redarius Jackson, four-star wide receiver from Memphis, Tennessee, will be committing to our Volunteers at about 2 p.m. Eastern time. And we will be streaming that live on this channel for those of y'all who can watch or who want to watch and just see him choose our Volunteers over teams like Auburn, Ole Miss, and Mississippi State. Now, they do have an outside chance, but we know that he's coming home to Tennessee. And I believe this is Austin Price's favorite player in this class. He talks about him a lot, but we'll have a link for that stream down in the description below for those of y'all that want to make sure that you can join in on that fun. Now, let's go ahead and get into the transfer portal, okay? Starting off with Elijah Herring. We talked a lot about him potentially coming back just because, his younger brother and Caleb Herring is still a part of this team, and he wasn't officially in the portal yet. So I did look on On3 like a couple of days ago, and he is, in the portal as far as On3 goes. So I don't know how official all that stuff is, but that was as of the 18th. So he also just went on a visit to Colorado and saw Coach Prime this past Friday. And he's got a host of other schools that are, targeting him or have at least reached out with some interest. And those teams include Penn State, Pitt, Florida State, Maryland, Central Florida, and Miami. But Elijah is taking Miami off of his list because they're going to be bringing in some other linebackers. And it sounds like he doesn't want that competition. I don't think that that's a great look if you have NFL aspirations. I still would say that Knoxville is the best place for Elijah. His younger brother is there. And also I think that he really fits Coach Inge's style of teaching a lot better than maybe where he's going to end up at. And it sounds like he could end up at Colorado, but again, we don't really know. I would say that at the end of the day, Elijah probably will not be playing for our Volunteers here in the fall, but it does sound like Caleb is planning on staying. Now, there is another player that we kind of talked about could potentially enter into that transfer portal, and that's Jordan Matthews, but he did tweet out a few days ago that he had a great second spring up in Knoxville, and he is looking forward to his second fall in Knoxville. So I think that he kind of put that out there because all these players, they see and hear what's going on with social media, YouTube, everything. And it's been rumored pretty much everywhere that Jordan Matthews could potentially be a guy that would be leaving our Volunteers. But I would say that at this point, sounds like he's going to be staying put. And we might not be losing a whole lot of people. Okay. We really only have until the end of this week for players to enter into the portal. And if they don't get in by the 30th, then they cannot enter in. So sounds like it's going to end up kind of playing out the way that P said, like a couple of months ago when he said, nah, I don't really see that happening just because spring is a time that a lot of players will still have that hope and they feel like they can earn some good, solid playing time. I think that Jordan Matthews can be a great cornerback for us. We'll see, okay? For those of y'all that may not know who Jordan Matthews is, he was a four-star cornerback, really the highest touted, cornerback coming out of high school in the 2023 class for our Volunteers. But on this channel, just from looking at the film, we felt like Ricky Gibson had more of an upside just early on. Doesn't mean that Jordan Matthews can't kind of close that gap or even surpass a guy like Ricky Gibson because I think that he might be a little bit taller, maybe a little bit longer. He just has to get more discipline and set on top of routes. But that's pretty much it as far as the football team goes. So I love just the simple fact that we are able to maybe, hopefully, okay, retain as many players as possible. We still have to go out, I think, and try to target a running back in that portal. Now, whenever I talked about this, us going out and trying to get a running back from the portal, I was thinking, honestly speaking, okay, some of y'all might not like this, but I was thinking, hey, we need to do some tampering. We need to go, identify some guys at some lower classifications and just kind of have somebody reach out to them, like a third party and say, hey, we're very interested in you. If you enter into that portal, then we can talk some more. I'm still holding out hope that Tennessee will do that, but we'll see coming up here in the next few days. All right, now on to our Lady Vols basketball team. Coach Kim Caldwell picked up two big commitments and one of them is official. The other one isn't just yet, but trust me when I tell you that one's coming. Both of these young ladies are dogs. And whenever I say that, I mean it with the utmost respect. Exactly what I'm looking for in any player for our Volunteers. And the first player is going to be Alyssa Latham, who was a 6'2" freshman forward from Syracuse. She averaged 8.6 points, 7 rebounds, zero point 0.7 assists, and was shooting 46% from the field. last season as a true freshman, also shooting 28.6% from three. I love her game. Okay, she's an extremely athletic player, and also, like we said, she's a dog. She's gonna make those tough shots. Okay, she's gonna rise in those critical moments. I think that she is a great addition to Kim Caldwell's scheme in the way that she likes to play basketball. I love what Kim Caldwell is doing so far. And the next player is going to be Lazaria Spearman from Miami. So she's a sophomore, 6'4". She's from Decula, Georgia, and that is in the Atlanta area. She's averaging 6.3 points per game, 6 rebounds, zero point 0.5 assists, shooting 50% from the field, and she's only shooting about 10% from three. But I also love her game. You want to talk about, again, just being a dog, getting those tough points, getting those tough rebounds, and being able to run the floor fits our system to a T. And she's the player that is not quite yet official, but we are expecting for that news to go on ahead and break in the next few days. And now onto the men's basketball transfer portal. There's no real breaking news here. We're pretty much in the same position that we was in the last time that we spoke about it. Tobe, we're hoping that he will come back home, but Rick Barnes talked about he's not going to be waiting around on him. So Igor Milicic is still trying to decide on a school. He's coming off of his most recent visit with Baylor. We haven't heard anything there. Kay Tyson, who is from North Carolina, just came off of his visit at North Carolina. Now, he's a guy that can really shoot. I would love for us to be able to add him. But a lot of the experts just think that that's going to be a long shot, probably going to be North Carolina that he ends up committing to, but nothing is official just yet. We'll keep y'all up to date on that. But the only real news that we have, okay, that I guess will be kind of breaking is that Roddy Gale, who is the 6'4" guard from Ohio State, sounds like he's trending towards Michigan. We kind of talked about him visiting Michigan over the weekend and how that didn't really make a whole lot of sense, some loyalty factors there. But we don't know what's going to happen with it. But again, it does sound like he's probably going to be going on to Michigan and he will not be playing for our Volunteers. Now on to track and field. Our track team has done a phenomenal job. We're breaking a whole bunch of records, whether it's PRs or whether it's NCAA records, all of that, we're doing a really good job. So we're going to start off with TJ McCallum, who ran a 9.94 in the 100 meters at the South Carolina Open. And that's the fastest win legal outdoor 100 meters in the entire world this season. It's also the second fastest collegiate time. The fastest time was a 9.82. And we also had two of our volunteers place in the top 10 in the NCAA this season in the 400-meter hurdles. We'll start off with Rasheem Griffith, who ran a 49.58. He took first place. And Jaquan Hill ran a 49.95, and he took second place. And Layla Anderson took third place in the 100-meter hurdles with a time of 13.23, which is seventh best in Lady Vols history. Emmanuel Bynum comes in first place in the 400 meters with a time of 46.06. Our men's 4x1 team takes first place with a time of 39.21, and that is ninth best in the NCAA this season. And we also had a couple of PRs and top 5 times in the 5K over the weekend with Yassine Abdallah. He had a 13:39.15. That's number 2 in Tennessee history. Brandon Olden ran a 13:42.81, and that's number 4 in UT history. Women's 5K, we had Emily Covert run a 15:48.29. That's number 3 in school history. Rachel Sutliff ran a 15:55.48. That's a PR, and it's number 6 in UT history. Ashley Jones ran a 15:58.77. That's a PR for her, and it's number 7 in UT history. Now for the 1500 meters, Chris Cherry runs a 3:41.58, which is number 2 in UT history. Let me just say this. That's insane. Okay. I don't know how they're able to run that far that quickly, but that is extremely impressive. And Dalton Hanks ran a 3:42.67, which is number 7 in UT history. Now on to some signees for our track and field team. Roderick Davis, who runs sprints, runs hurdles, and also is a jumper, has signed with our Volunteers. And Trenard Folson has also signed with our Volunteers. He's a sprinter, and he is a sub 10-second 100-meter guy. That is blazing speed. And last but certainly not least, we have Miss Avia Jones, who is a sprinter. She has signed with our Volunteers. Welcome to the family. All of y'all, very happy to have you. Now let's switch gears to our number 4 ranked Lady Vols softball team versus number 7 ranked LSU in the series that we did win. Okay, so first game we end up winning 3-0. Second game we lose 0-1, but in the final game we finished strong with a 3-0 victory over LSU, and we have now won all 5 of our SEC series this season. I think that we have a good shot to be able to win them all, but we play really good defense and we have great pitching. Okay. Peyton Gottschall, Carolyn Pickens, they are phenomenal, and we've got a lot more to go along with it. And our bats can get hot, okay? They get hot at the right time. I think that going up against Alabama, hopefully we can win that series, and then Kentucky before we head into the SEC tournament, and then we'll be heading on to the World Series tournament. A lot of people think that Oklahoma is the team to beat, but watch out for our Lady Vols. I think that we can beat them, and I think that we can win the whole doggone thing. And finally, for our number 4 ranked baseball team versus number 3 Kentucky in a series that we also won, losing the first game 3-5, winning the second game 9-4. In the third game, we won 13-11. That one got close because Kentucky almost came back right there at the end. But we've got to talk about Christian Moore, who hit 3 bombs in the final game and 4 for the series, which makes him Tennessee's all-time home run leader with 46. And he has 19 on the season, so he's chasing Sonny Cortez for an NCAA single season record of 24. I think that he can pass it this season. Now, we also kind of talked about Blake Burke beating that Tennessee home run record just like a week or two ago, something like that. And now him and Christian are just going back and forth. And I love that competition. I love the way that they kind of talk trash back and forth. I mean, that's what you want to see, right? Like, you want to see some guys out there that are very confident in their game. And I also love the way that we are able to hit in those critical moments. And not just for those 2 players, but for the entire cycle. Everybody, okay, is going to hit in those critical moments for the most part. Tears is another guy that, I mean, Christian Moore talked about him potentially being the best hitter on the entire team. And it's just hard to pick one, right? I will say that we do have some good pitchers, right? There are some that I'm like, man, their stuff is just always on. Some of the guys, their stuff is hit and miss. We've got to get a lot more consistent, especially before we get into the NCAA or, the World Series tournament if we want to win the whole thing. But I would kind of say that even at this point, the way that we're hitting, the way that we're batting, there's a good chance that we could still be able to beat everybody. I just don't know how do you pitch to this lineup where everybody can hit and it's just so consistent. So extremely proud of this team. I absolutely love watching them play. I love watching all of our volunteers go to work. And this is the everything school, like Danny White loves to say. But that's going to be it for this video. Please make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell, share with your friends, family, and other volunteer fans. And we would love to see y'all today at 2 p.m. Really at about 1:55, we'll probably start that stream. But we would love to see y'all and join us with Radarius Jackson committing to our volunteers. A lot to be excited about. It's great to be a Tennessee Vol. Thank y'all for sticking all the way to the end, and we'll see y'all in just a minute. Peace.